So this tutorial is to help you with putting in some data and creating a basic chart using Google Sheets. So if you go to sheets.google.com, it'll take you here, and then you can go ahead and start a new spreadsheet. If you're using a Chromebook, you can click on the icon that looks like this down at your taskbar at the bottom. So once we open up a new spreadsheet, we're going to go ahead and let's give this a name. So let's call it Sheets Basic Chart, because that's what we're going to create some data and then do a basic chart from it. So in this activity, we need some data for this one. I'm going to do favorite treats. So say there's students in a class or in a school and they have favorite treats that they like to eat. So we're going to list a list of different types of treats, and then in column B we're going to put down the number of votes for each one. All right. So once you have these two in here, you'll notice they're kind of fill in the whole space, and this one fills in plus a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to expand these two out a little bit, and you can do that by putting your mouse in between and double clicking like that, and it expands it. So we're going to do that for both of these just to make sure they're not being crowded. And then the next thing we'll need to do is we're going to go ahead and for this activity at least, we're going to center all of the text that's in these fields just right in the middle. So we can actually highlight both of these at the same time by clicking and dragging on the A and B. If we drag across, it'll highlight both of those columns, and then we can go ahead and center it. So if we click on More, there should be an alignment option, and we want to center it here. Okay, so now everything in these two columns should be centered. So now we're going to go ahead and put down the data. So we've got different types of treats. Let's say candy, chips, cookies, pizza, and we'll just leave it at that. Now we're going to go ahead and put in the number of votes for how many students voted for each of these as their favorite treat. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in. Okay, so now I just have some basic data here for the favorite treats and the votes for each of those treats. So next we're going to use this information and create a chart out of it. So we can just go ahead and click on Insert and then go to Chart. Okay, and it's automatically going to select the data. You can see already on here pizza, candy, chips, cookies, number of votes. It automatically uses the data that we have in the Google Sheet. So what we'll want to do is change this first thing once you get to this chart menu. We'll want to go ahead and change the chart type for this assignment. We're going to click on this arrow, and we're just going to scroll down to the column, and we're just going to do a regular column chart. Okay, so now we've got those in here, and you can see the amounts for each one. Now at the very top of this it says number of votes. It's not a very good name for a title for a chart about treats that people like. So we're going to go ahead and change the name of that. So if we click in here, it takes us actually over to our chart and access titles menu, but you can click on it here as well. And we're going to go ahead and change the name of this title text from number of votes to favorite treats. All right, once we've done that, we also want to go ahead and center it because it's over here on the top left. I actually want it centered in the middle. So the second step after you change the name is to center it, and you can scroll down here and click on alignment and change it to center. So now that's centered as well. So once you've got those two things done, we'll just need to go ahead and finalize this chart. So if there's anything else you wanted to do, if you wanted to change the font size, you could here. If we wanted our font size a little bigger, we could make it, oh, that was too small. Okay, we could change the size there. And the title font style if you wanted. If you wanted a different style, you could change that. Okay, so that's all you pretty much have to do for this one. Once that chart is all done, you're going to go ahead and close out here. And that is all that is needed for this assignment. So once this is done, just make sure your your data is not covered up. So right now it's covered up. So we're going to just click on the chart that highlights it. And then we can just click again just in a blank spot of the chart, and we're going to pull it just right below our last part of the data, our last line of data there. So now if we scroll up, we see our favorite treats and the number of votes. These are both centered. We've got our graph below it. It's a bar graph. It should be just look similar to this one where it's a bar graph. And then it should have the name favorite treats up here in the middle.